All right, let's dive into a massive question right at the heart of Web3, one that literally has billions of dollars riding on the answer. So based on some really interesting research by Giulio Caldarelli, we're asking, can AI finally solve one of blockchain's oldest and, let's be honest, most stubborn challenges?
And yeah, that challenge is this right here. Blockchains, they're built to be these perfect, pristine fortresses of digital certainty. But to actually be useful, they need data from our world, the outside world. And our world is messy, unpredictable, anything but certain. This is the fundamental conflict we're really going to dig into. So to really wrap our heads around this, we first have to understand the nature of the dilemma itself. It's got a name, of course, the blockchain oracle problem. And trust me, it's been a thorn in the side of developers pretty much since day one. Okay, so here's the problem in a nutshell. By their very design, blockchains are totally isolated. They're like a brain in a jar. They can't just look outside and check the price of Bitcoin on Coinbase or see if it actually rained in London yesterday. They need a messenger, what we call an oracle, to feed them that info. And here's the catch, right? That messenger could be wrong. Or even worse, it could deliberately lie. And just like that, you've reintroduced the exact same trust issues that blockchain was supposed to get rid of in the first place.
And this comparison really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you've got the on-chain world. Everything is orderly, secure, perfectly verifiable. But on the other side, you've got our world, the off-chain world. It's chaotic, messy, but it's also full of all the valuable data that smart contracts desperately need to do anything useful. So oracles, there's the fragile, rickety bridges that have to connect these two completely opposite realities.
For years, we've been trying to solve this with clever economic incentives and decentralization. But what if the solution isn't just a better version of the old ideas? What if it's a completely different kind of technology? What if the perfect witness we've been waiting for has finally arrived?
And this is the big promise, right? This is why everyone's so excited. AI seems almost tailor-made for this job. I mean, it can sift through mountains of that messy, real-world data, find the signal buried in all the noise, and then deliver a single, clean answer to the blockchain. It really does sound like a perfect match.
Okay, so let's get specific. What exactly can AI do that a regular old oracle can't? Well, it turns out its superpowers are kind of uniquely suited for this particular fight. And let's start with some hard data, because this is pretty impressive. One prototype showed that an AI-enhanced oracle could hit 92% accuracy in detecting fraud. Now compare that to the 78% for a traditional oracle. That's a huge leap. We're not just talking theory here. This is a measurable, massive improvement in security.
So how on earth does it get that kind of jump in security? Well, AI can spot tiny anomalies in data feeds that a human would just totally miss. It can detect really sophisticated attacks, like flash loans, as they're happening. It can even use reinforcement learning to dynamically pick the most trustworthy data sources from moment to moment. And this is the wild part, with large language models, it can literally read a news article and tell a smart contract what happened. It's an incredibly impressive toolkit.
But you knew there was a but coming, right? There's always a but. Our hero, AI, has a hidden vulnerability. And ironically, its greatest strength, that complex, almost magical intelligence, is also its greatest weakness.
It really all comes down to this classic, old-school principle of computer science. No matter how incredibly smart an AI is, its conclusions are only ever as good as the data you feed it. So if that initial data is corrupted or manipulated or just plain wrong, the AI will confidently give you a sophisticated, well-reasoned, and completely false answer.
Yeah, look at how this actually works in practice. AI doesn't just replace all those messy layers of data input and aggregation. Nope, it adds a brand new layer right on top. And sure, it's a powerful layer, but it's also an opaque one, a black box. So now, not only do you have to trust the original data source, you also have to trust the AI's secret internal interpretation of that data. So, here's the crucial point. AI's core features are often in direct conflict with blockchain's core principles. AI can be non-deterministic. That means it can give you different answers to the exact same question, which is a total deal breaker for blockchain consensus. It can hallucinate facts out of thin air. And because it's so often a black box, you can't audit why it made a certain decision. These aren't just little bugs we can patch. They're fundamental philosophical challenges. And the paper's conclusion just puts it perfectly. Trying to solve one black box with another is conceptually incoherent. Think about that. The whole oracle problem is about how to trust information you can't independently verify. Well, using an AI, which is usually another thing you can't independently verify, doesn't solve the problem. It just repackages it.
Okay, so if AI isn't the hero that's going to ride in and single-handedly solve this thing, what is it? Well, the research suggests a totally new role for it. Think of it not as the lone solver, but as a really, really powerful sidekick as part of a bigger team.
And its hybrid model, this team approach, builds a much more resilient system because it lets each part play to its strengths. So first, you let AI do what it's great at, the heavy lifting, analyzing all that complex data. Second, you use cryptoeconomics, things like making data providers stake their own money, which makes it financially painful for them to lie. And then finally, you have human governance, DAOs, community voting, acting as the ultimate safety net for the really critical or ambiguous decisions.
So this brings us all the way back to our original question. Can AI solve the Oracle problem? And the answer, according to this research, is a clear no. It can't, because the problem isn't just technical. It's about the very nature of knowledge and trust. But, and this is a huge but, AI can be an incredibly powerful tool to mitigate the problem, to manage and reduce the risks, making our Oracle systems way smarter, faster, and more secure than they've ever been before.
And that leaves us with one final and maybe most important question. We're building all this incredible AI to help us trust the data from the world. But in doing that, have we really solved the trust problem, or have we just moved it one step up the chain? Because now the question is, who do we trust to build the AI? The ultimate Oracle, it seems, isn't a piece of code after all. It's the people who write it.